Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Saykhamphone podcast. I'm your host, James Saykhamphone. Thank you for tuning in, whatever you're listening on, via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any others. All right, so what I want to talk about in this episode is the NBA playoffs, Tokyo Olympics, mainly USA men's basketball, the Wizards head coaching search, and some anime. Just stick tuned and then you'll know what that is. Alright, so the NBA playoffs, the final 4 teams left is the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee Bucks versus Atlanta Hawks. Western Conference, it is the Phoenix Suns versus Los Angeles Clippers. I've been tuning into a few games, and I think it's pretty clear in the Eastern Conference side of who's going to go to the finals, which is Milwaukee Bucks. Western Conference, it's not so clear. Maybe for a few watchers, but to me, I think it's pretty clear. It's going to be Phoenix Suns, because let's just jump back to the Eastern Conference first before I talk about the Western Conference. So the Bucks, yeah, they're a well polished team. They got a MVP and All Stars, and I think Coach Bud is better than Coach McMillan. Of course, you have the superstar and the Greek Freak, and I think what they're doing with him right now, or what he's realizing, what he can do to help the team best win, is not being like a point forward. Yes, he can do some of that, but to take pressure off your team, it's good to have someone that can shoot the ball, is handling the ball. Especially in the fourth quarter, you can see from the Sixers with Ben Simmons how it just wasn't working out late in games, and the Hawks beat him. And earlier this week, Giannis, he referred to as like he doesn't mind Chris Middleton taking the shots, being that go-to scorer late in the fourth quarter to close out the games, which I believe is the best thing that Giannis realizes, what Chris realizes, and what the team is doing, and Chris just taking command. And that's what you got to do. You got to, of course you want to play to the best of your ability and be the best player you can, but you also got to realize the role you have on the team if you want to have a team success. And this is perfect. It's perfect. It's working out. And it's also good that it's also perfect that it's not just those two as contributing. They have other players on the team. Drew Holiday, he's a good player. I don't remember what pick exactly, but I believe he was top 5 when he was drafted. And he knows his role. He might be in a slump in a few games, but he is good. Good third option. Excellent third option. Actually, like he can create his own shot, get players involved. Lockdown defender. You can put him guarding Trae Young the whole game. You can put Middleton, Tucker, even Giannis. I just throw everybody at Trae Young because he's the main guy that's creating. He's the primary ball handler on the Hawks. Not just because he's the point guard, but you can watch if you're watching the game, you can see everything runs through him. When he's off the floor, it's they don't go in a drought or a slump, but it's not as fluid as if he was on the floor. He's just nasty on the court. he can shoot from the logo, make plays here and there. It's like he says himself like Steve Nash was like his favorite player growing up. It's like Steve Nash is, like how Rondo, they fake pass it behind the back and just it's like magic watching him play. He makes just pulls it off. It's like it's exciting. But I think it's like the Bucks are gonna win, and they're a better team. I think they got a better team. I know the Hawks got better shooters, and once you're rating threes, you can't. It's hard to stop. You can't play catch up. You can see I think the Bucks are trying to play catch up sometimes when the Hawks rain threes, and it's not good. Just stick to your game plan. Like get Giannis the ball in the paint. It's like run some pick and rolls with him. Not just like Giannis driving into the paint from the top of the key or top from the 3-point line, but you see when he just runs and attacks the rim, and then you just passing the ball, lobs, pick and rolls, or anything like before. Like he needs to do that at the beginning of the play, beginning of the possession. The ball past half court, run and attack the rim. Like you hear like these centers that are rim runners. Giannis does that. There's no stopping him. And then once you do that, once that works out, the court, it all opens up. And it's fantastic watching. Like I want to see the Bucks make it. No disrespect to the Hawks, but I want to see the Bucks make it. You saw that play when he about to do a dunk on Capella, but he just midair changed into a layup. Who else did that? That's Michael Jordan. And the Hawks, they got a bright future. Trae Young is like the villain of this playoffs, and I like that. I didn't like Trae Young at the beginning of his career, but now I'm liking him. He got swag, man. He's an alpha. He's a dog out there. He's just trying to win and have fun. He can play the game. I like it. All right, so back to the Western Conference. So I just think the Suns are better. I know the Clippers got a good team, good coaching too, but without Kawhi, they're not going to win. We know Paul George is, trying to he's carrying the team. Some flashbacks to Patriots Paul George from doing it all. I don't think they can do it without Kawhi. I don't think Paul George is a number one guy. Yeah, like he has all the skill, all the ability, all that to be a number one guy. But I don't think I just don't see it in him. It's Kawhi. He's a clear-cut number one. It's not like a two number ones, like a 1A, 1B. I think it's a 1 and a 2. And I think Paul George he's excellent number 2. He bona fide number 2. But can he be the guy? Can he do it? Can he carry you to win the series and carry you to like a game 7 or like a closeout game in the finals and win the trophy? I don't see it in him. It's not saying that because I don't like him as a player. I just, I watch basketball and I just don't see it in him. Plus, I don't really like how I just think the Suns are better. I don't think the Clippers are as good, maybe, or there's something with this team that I don't see them winning. It's like chemistry. There's something about it. Like, I think Rondo should be playing more. I know Reggie Jackson's been really good. Like, he's giving you the points that you need from the guard position, but they need a playmaker. And you can play Rondo with either Reggie or Pat Bev. You're gonna have like no shooting from your guard if you play with Pat Bev, but you got the two. It's a pretty locked down backcourt. And you got like the hustle guy, the gritty guy from Pat Bev, and Rondo does that too. And you got them from the playmaking spot. Pat Bev can probably make a few threes here and there. Won't scare you from the 3-point line, but he can make a few shots. It'll open everything up, and then Rondo can create, because he's just fantastic, and he was a great trade for it. But you gotta play him more. And from the Suns' perspective, this is like, I believe the Suns is all around best team roster wise from the 4 teams left, because you can go in and out, threes, mid range, playmaking from point guard Chris Paul. I really believe this has been his MVP season. He's a culture guy. He's a culture piece, culture superstar, Hall of Famer. He should have been MVP. Oh, man. Who was MVP this season? Let me look that up. It was the Joker, Nikola Jokic. Like, he's fantastic too, but he's consistent, doing very well. But I'm not picking Chris Paul because he has longer, because he's played longer, and you can see like everything he's done. Probably, actually, I take that back. I think I am, but you can see he just changes the teams. He gets them. You can't. I want to say he gets them over the hump, but you can't say that because he hasn't been through the conference finals that much and hasn't reached the NBA finals. But I believe he gets them over the hump into the playoffs. When he's drafted by the Pelicans, they were a fantastic team. He had to play 48 minutes. He had to play the whole game. I remember he played against the Lakers and against Kobe. Like, he was guarding Kobe. 6 feet Chris Paul guarding 6'6" Kobe Bryant. When they took Chris Paul out of the game, that's when the Lakers were on a run. Fast forward, when he went to the Clippers, he made them pretty relevant. Lob City, Chris Paul. Only thing is that they didn't have a wing player. If they had a wing player, they could have went. They could have been. That's all they need, a wing player. They could have went to the finals, and now you've been to the Rockets. Got from the conference finals. I believe they had a lead against the Warriors too, but he got hurt. And then he went to the next team, Thunder. Nobody expected the Thunder to be anywhere, around like the playoffs. But once he went there, he lifted that team up to, pretty successful team. How young they were and how the players they had. And I don't think Billy Donovan was there as a coach, and it's Chris Paul. So now he's on the Suns. Yes, the Suns, you can see they're coming up from last season's their playoff push, like 8-0 in the bubble. And now you see them where they are now in the playoffs with Chris Paul. You can't just say because they were 8-0 in the bubble that they're going to continue this success and make it this far without Chris Paul this season. Yes, they improved and they keep getting better. I think that's what you expect. You get Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton coaching, and the players around you like growing and developing, steady incline. But you can't guarantee that. Chris Paul was the glue they needed. The playmaker, the veteran, the culture, and his leadership. You can see like he's still FaceTiming the team when he was on COVID protocols, just leading them. He's a great guy, locker room guy, on court guy, off court guy. I think Chris Paul should have been the MVP. And with Chris Paul and with Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, I don't remember who was in this draft. I think it was Lonzo and Tatum. No. It was not Lonzo and Tatum. Who was in that draft? But it was Trae Young and Luka. It was hard to like, for me, I wouldn't like DeAndre Ayton wasn't a clear cut number one guy for me. I know you need a big to win, but the number one guy for me was Luka. Not what I see from right now, but I think the experience he had. He's a big guy. He was a big wing player at the time, and that you see like now as a point guard, ball handler. I think I would have took shoot the shot with Luka. Even though we came from overseas, and people don't want to draft overseas guys because they don't always pan out. Overseas guys don't have high success rate in the NBA. But now, since the game is changing to kind of matches the overseas, but you still need a big. I think Luka would have transitioned well, and with Luka's achievements, I wouldn't see the problem of drafting a number one. But then it runs into, you have Luka and Booker, like, who's going to get the ball more? And I don't think that would be an issue, because I don't think Booker is like a point guard. Like, you shouldn't count on him always being like handing the ball, because I think, just because he can do it doesn't mean you should do it. It's like same situation like Giannis. Just because he can do it a few times here and there in the game doesn't mean he should do it. Just because you have high assists doesn't matter. You can tell if you watch the game. But I would have drafted Luka, have him with Booker. I think that'd be a nice wing duo. For me, I'd rather build with the wings instead of a big and a guard, or a big and a wing. But this is like, it's changing my perspective on that. And if you get the right big that can play in today's NBA with the guards or the wings, it's fine. And Ayton he's that guy right now. He's behind Jokic and Bam, or behind Jokic, I would mix Ayton in there like a number two, maybe even number one, because he has more stamina during the game. He runs well, attacks well. He can, has some defensive plays, and I think he's fine. Like my three bigs are just Jokic, Ayton, and Bam. All right, let's get to the Olympics. So Tokyo Olympics, mainly basketball. The USA team, I don't see us losing gold. I think we're winning gold. It doesn't matter who we send. I think we have enough talent, enough skill, and we're a pretty well shooting team now. I think like overseas players, overseas countries, they're better fundamentally, but with the right coaching, because right now pop coaching and our assistant uh, Steve Kerr, Lloyd Pierce, and Jay Wright. Pop, he can command the team and get them in the fundamentals. If you get the right players too, that can play in a team atmosphere and pretty good fundamentally, we can match any overseas team. On top of my head, the only overseas country I can see giving us some problem is Spain, France, maybe Argentina, and Spain's always been up there as a tough team for us. But I don't want to just say that we can win them, because for me, I think focusing on fundamentals is better than just athleticism. And fundamentals, I would take fundamentals over the other stuff, because that can carry longer into your career, into your life. To go through the roster, we got Bam, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD, Jeremy Grant, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Zach LaVine, Dame, Kevin Love, Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum. The only superstar jumps right off the roster worldwide is KD. And Dame's up there now too. And that's fine, because we got players that also can fit a role, and to match with the other countries, we don't have we don't need really centers like Bam. And I think Kevin Love is trying to go into that transition, but he's not a center, which it's fine, because other countries don't have just a low post center. They can shoot and spread the floor, and we got good role players. See, that's what it's about. It's not just collecting superstar talent. You can see what we did in past Olympics, how that worked out. It's just getting the right pieces together and players that can play their role. I'm really excited to see Beal, Bam, Tatum, Booker, even Jeremy Grant, on a different pedestal of world stage, because they are Jeremy Grant, Bam, Drew. I think they need. I really like those players. I think they're overlooked. Even Draymond Green, he gets some hate, but I like their game. I think they're gonna stand out, because I like defense, and I can't wait to see Beal and Tatum just go off. Tatum's a rising star. Just watch him. Got great coaching, Pop. You know who he is. Steve Kerr, you know who he is. Lloyd Pierce. Before taking the Hawks job, I think he drafted Trae Young. He was on the Sixers, and he was known for a good player development. Got Jay Wright, college coach from Villanova. If you know anything about them, I believe Mikal Bridges went there. I don't remember who else, but he has a few collegiate championships. So I think there's no doubt that I don't think we're gonna struggle. I think we'll be in there for a good play-in for the gold. All right, so the Wizards head coaching job. So it's coming down to who is coming. The list narrowed down. Right now, I'm seeing Sam Cassell and Wes Unseld, and we want to talk to Jamal Mosley. So Sam Cassell, he was on the staff a few years back, and I'm not sure how well he will do. I'm not sure how any of these guys would do. Head coaching, I don't want to pick. I don't want to select I don't think we should select a head coach that's a prior head coach, because unless it's like some of them I would do, but how the game is changing, how you need a new voice, a new face, a new perspective. Like if they couldn't, it depends how well they did in the last job. You can't just, like, oh, he's not available in the market, he's gonna do good here. Then why did he get fired? So Sam Cassell, he has some championship experience. Been on some good coaching staffs. Wes Unseld Jr., I think it's the son of Wes Unseld. His dad played for the Wizards. I don't know if Jr. had an NBA career. And we have Jamal Mosley, who's on the Mavericks coaching staff, assistant. Luka really likes him. He might be good. Just from the top of my head, these three. These three, I really don't know. I want to give it to. I really don't want to give it to, but I think it's gonna come down to just Sam Cassell and Jamal Mosley. I know Wes Unseld. He's from his dad. He played for the Wizards, and so he knows the organization. The organization knows him. So I think he also has a good play in, but I think it's gonna come to Sam Cassell and Jamal Mosley. Just Jamal Mosley, I think he has a good player connection. If he can get along with Luka, I think it's a good player connection, and he's been on a good organization, the Mavericks, and it's good. Under Rick Carlisle, it's good. Sam Cassell, been under Doc Rivers. He knows the organization, the Wizards organization too, won the championships as a player. So he's going to be respected by players too, because he has player pedigree, coaching pedigree. So I think it's going to come down to those two. I don't know who I would pick right now, but it's going to be those two for sure. And yeah, I think we should go after like these other coaches like that, like their assistants. And I forgot who said it. I was watching one of these sports shows, and when you make like a role player, that's a role player in the NBA, a head coach, I think it was Matt Barnes. I think it was on The Jump. They know how to communicate and connect with role players, and that's key to championship teams. Like you see Monty Williams, who else? Ty Lue. They know how to do it, get it done, and run plays from them to get them involved, and all everything you looking for. And you see how it's panning out. So, so Sam Cassell, that's off the top of my head. I think Sam Cassell, he'd be like the leading candidate for the Wizards coaching job. Obviously, I wasn't watching basketball in the 90s, and I know he won championship with the Rockets, and he won with the Celtics. So I think Sam Cassell. I think we should give Sam Cassell the job. Alright, so now to the anime teaser. So on Hypebeast Japan, I saw Attack on Titan finishing the final season 4, a teaser. Pictures like I believe it was Aaron, somebody else like in the desert with I think somebody becoming a Titan in the background. You can see the big aura going up. I can't wait to finish this. I'm surprised how good it was. And Naruto was my number 1 anime, and I like this anime too. Like I watched it all through, no breaks. So that's how I know it's gonna be good. And I want to get more into reading some more manga. I think it just goes by faster, no fillers. I want to read some more manga, but the thing is that I don't want to read a manga, watch the same anime, and try to figure out where it leaves off, where it picks up, because they don't correlate 1-on-1. And they're just like different little stuff that's added into the anime that's not in the manga, because manga comes first. And yeah, So reading manga and get some more books, more financial books. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad if y'all have it. And that's about it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, share if you found something interesting. And I hope I can get to the Tokyo Olympics out here in Japan. I don't know how they're gonna let even visitors go in. People that don't have prior tickets. If you're not, a VIP or anything, I hope I can get out there. Record some videos out there, some vlogs. Just catch up on my YouTube channel. Just type in Saykhamphone too. Instagram as well, Twitter. I'll be saying some updates. If y'all enjoy this, thank you. Leave a like, subscribe, and share anything on this podcast or my YouTube channel. You see anything interesting? Thank you. See you on next episode. Peace.